Hi, how is everybody? How is? It's gonna be one of those nights, all right, where I can't find words. That is okay. How is your week going? I think that's where I was going with that. Have we all survived the Thanksgiving aftermath, for lack of a better term? So, yeah, we had Thanksgiving, which feels like a really long time ago now, and it's weird today. I was back at work talking to people about, how was your Thanksgiving? And God, it feels like eons ago, and it really was just a couple days ago. So, there's that. Otherwise, I assume we're all sort of back to the grind, back at work, back to whatever it is that we do normally. Today was my first day back at work, and I felt like I didn't even know what day it was. I don't know. It was super weird. So a couple things before we get started. I am going to be at an expo this weekend on Sunday in Elmhurst, Illinois, if you are local to me. It's a Crystal Ranch Expo. I think it's the Clarion Inn. I will post the link below this and probably on my page. It's there somewhere now, but things get lost. So that is on Sunday from 10 to 5, I believe. I guess I should look at my details a little better there, huh? I'm kind of guessing on this. But I'm going to be running Access Consciousness bars, which is something I know that I talk quite a bit about. So I'm really excited to do that. I'm doing that with my friend Yvonne, so we will have neighboring booths running bars, 20 minutes for $20 all day. So come out and see us on Sunday. Otherwise, gosh, I got a lot of things going on right now. Other quick thought is that I posted in here, I think yesterday, I am doing a beta group or a kind of first round test group for free on some dating and relationship coaching and looking for your ideal partner, what that means for you. And I still have a few slots left. So if that's of interest to you, you can just send me a private message, instant message, or you can email me at melissa@journeytopresent.com and we'll get you all signed up for that. So I think that's all my stuff right now. So I've spent the day looking at a lot of different things in the dating world when I had some free time and tonight after I got home from work, and what it is, what my message is, and all of those things around dating, and what, if I could portray anything or teach anything about... Hi, John, I see your women only, darn it. I might do a men's group too. That's not a bad idea. So that's a thought. Anyways. Sorry, distracted. So, I was kind of looking at all the things, like what is it that, sets me apart, and what isn't working in dating, and why are people getting stuck? And what's sort of the swipe race, where we're all swiping on all the dating apps, just trying to, you match or you don't match, and it's all based solely on looks, and it's all based on it's this game, right? We all sit around, and I sit around with my single friends, and it's just, swipe right, swipe left, and it isn't very conscious, and it isn't very intentional, and it's something you're doing while having a conversation, while drinking wine, while doing 3 other things, and it's like this time waster. And I think about what that is and what that creates, and quite the opposite of intentional. And what would it be like if we looked at what is a term that already exists, but conscious. All right, that's fun. I had a phone call coming through, so hopefully I'm still back and live. I should set this to do not disturb. So when we talk about like conscious dating, like what does that mean? What does it mean to date consciously as opposed to unconsciously, and opposed to not really being present when we're dating, or even before you get to a date, but when you're thinking about being ready to date, so like 3 steps before an actual date. But when you're just starting to go into the space of thinking about dating and being ready to date and what that looks like, So what is that? What is conscious dating? And I spent sort of the day looking that up and looking at what that means. And there's lots of different definitions. But from an access consciousness standpoint, consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. And that's a great starting off point, is what if we included all the things and we judged none of it? But, and I'm sure you're thinking, what do you mean you can't judge? And obviously you're looking at somebody going, is this going to be the relationship for me? Is this somebody I want to date? Isn't that a judgment? And I mean, I suppose, kind of. But what if it was just, okay, this isn't a match for me. This isn't what I'm looking for. And that's a knowing and that's a trusting myself. But it isn't a judgment on that person. I'm not going, oh, they're a bad person, or they're, this kind of a person or that kind of a person, and all those stereotypes we put on people. But instead, you just ask questions of, what is it that I truly desire? And there's the self-awareness part. And not only is it what is it that I truly desire, but who am I? What am I looking for? And who and what is it that I actually desire from my life? So I need to look at my notes. So what if, we start looking at like, what are my strengths? What do I bring? What are the things that I'm still insecure about? Or what do I still need to work on as a person? Not necessarily in relationship, but possibly. But who and what am I today? What grand and glorious adventures can I have? And how can I include another person in that, should I desire? So we go into this like blame thing. We go into this like, oh, there's no good men out there. Everybody's taken. All men want is sex. Nobody wants a real relationship. Nobody can commit. Nobody returns calls, or nobody talks on the phone anymore. We kind of go into this whole blame thing about why it's not working for us. And what if instead of that, we took some responsibility and said, okay, interesting point of view to all of those things. And what if we look at ourselves and say, what else can I improve on? How can I grow as a person and figure out who I am and what it is that I'm really looking for in the world right now, and take that as a jumping off point rather than this swipe thing. And not that there's anything wrong with swiping. That's the world we live in. I get that. And there's lots of other ways to meet people, and it doesn't have to all be online, and it doesn't all have to be on the swiping apps. But I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But what if you did it consciously? What if you really looked at, kind of put barriers down and looked at like, what am I really doing with myself? Who do I want to be? Who am I moving towards? What are, with this sense of curiosity? And who else out there might have that same curiosity for life, for themselves? And when we talk about being conscious, we talk about, having a growth mindset of wanting to improve yourself and whatever that means, whether it's reading books or going to workshops or seeking out coaching, whatever that is that you're doing in your world to improve yourself, I imagine that you'd like to look for somebody else who has those same values, that same mindset of wanting to improve themselves. And instead of them looking at you and saying, gosh, why do you do all that self-help stuff? Or why do you read so much? Or whatever it is that you're doing to grow from, you'd want to find somebody who at least identifies with that. And their form of, personal and spiritual growth may not be the same as yours. But the idea of finding somebody who is conscious and aware in the world of themselves, of their strengths, of their shortcomings, and is also on that path to self-improvement makes it a whole lot easier to have a relationship than if you have one person doing those things and the other person's like, why would you do all those things? Do you see how that's a different energy in a relationship? What else? So the other thing that came to me was this thing about engaging. And when we engage with people in the world, we engage with people in text message, we engage with people on apps, or we engage with them in email, or we sit across the table from somebody and engage with them, what's happening? Are we being present? Are we being aware? Are we sitting in the moment and conversing with this person from a place of curiosity, from a place of getting to know them? Is that what we're doing? Or are you checking boxes in your head? And not that there's anything wrong with having a list of things that are values that you might be looking for in somebody. That's not a bad thing, okay? And that's something I'll talk a lot more about moving forward. Is there's a difference between checking boxes from a stats standpoint. How tall is he? What kind of education does he have? What job does he have? Does he have green eyes? I mean, that's a stats thing. When people send DMs, send me your stats. It's so weird. But instead, it's okay to have a list of kind of like values you're looking for. But when you're sitting there across from somebody, don't have that list like over here in your mind as you're checking stuff off. What if you just engaged? What if you just listened and asked questions out of curiosity? Instead of them walking in the room and you see them for the first time and you're like, I don't know if this is really somebody I'm interested in. And barriers go up and you're not really engaged anymore and you kind of shut off. But what if instead of doing that, you went into a space of just getting to know this person as a person, as somebody you'd like to date, as somebody you'd like to have another date with? Sure, maybe not. But what if you just were curious and just wanted to know more about them? And what might that create? Even if it isn't a relationship that comes out of it. But it might be a fun night. It might be that they're like, oh, this totally isn't the girl for me. But hey, I know a guy. You have no idea what that's going to create. But what if you just went into it and had fun? And had fun from a space of true curiosity, true knowing who you are coming into the date with, and also being so curious about that person sitting there with you. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of pieces to this. And I kind of went through and made a list of all the parts of conscious dating. And I realized I missed a bunch. And I'm talking, a little out of linearity as I talk about this. But I will make a post with them, numbered 1 through however many I came up with, if that's helpful. But there's something different to being present, to being aware, and to being awake and alive and engaged, and dating from that point of view instead of from this swiping, checking boxes thing that most people are doing. It's interesting how many people I talk to on a regular basis about dating, and sometimes they're really aware and sometimes they're not. And it's just something that is just like side of this side activity. So I think that's all I have on that. I'd love to hear if you have questions about any of this, if that's interesting to you, if anything at all. Comment below, send me a private message, and really truly let me know if you're interested in my little beta group to get some more information. It's a cool idea for me of getting more information on what my audience is looking for, and you guys get free coaching out of it. So it's a win-win. I get something, you get something. It's fun for everybody, and I definitely need about a handful more people. So let me know if that's of interest to you. I will talk to you guys all next week. Come see me on Sunday at the Crystal Ranch Expo. Have a good night, you guys. Bye-bye.